the genesis of a new life, soon to be extinguished.
In ancient times in Transylvania, which stretches across the dark Carpathian forests of Central Romania, frightening stories about Muroni were passed down from generation to generation. He was an unusual vampire. Unlike ordinary corpses, he was a master of deception, easily transforming into a stray dog, a gentle cat, an inconspicuous toad, or a tiny blood-sucking insect. These magical tricks allowed him to remain unnoticed for years, drawing close to his victims and attacking at the exact moment they least expected trouble. The elders in the villages still remember an incident that happened to a young shepherd named Ion. One stormy night, while taking shelter from a tempest in an abandoned hut, he led in a soaked black dog to warm up. The animal behaved quietly, curling up by the dying hearth. But as soon as the shepherd fell into a deep sleep, the dog rose soundlessly, its outlines blurred, and a pale human figure stepped onto the floor. In the morning, Ion was found barely alive, pale as chalk, with 2 deep wounds on his neck, while the mysterious dog had vanished, leaving only a trail of muddy human footprints on the threshold. Another story tells of a wealthy peasant woman named Maria, who was famous for her cleanliness. For several weeks in a row, she was tormented by a huge gray horsefly, which neither locked shutters nor smoky herbs could ward off. Every time the woman sat down to dinner, the insect circled over her with a heavy buzz and bit her painfully on the shoulder. Maria was fading away before everyone's eyes, growing weaker by the day, until a local medicine man suspected something amiss. He told her to watch for the pest and scathe its wing with holy water. Struggling to follow the advice, the woman managed to strike the horsefly to the floor, only to hear it suddenly scream in a human voice, turn into a thick mist, and crawl under the door. When the terrified peasants gathered their courage and went to the old cemetery on the edge of the forest to find the desecrated grave, recognizing Muroni in the coffin was an easy task. His body knew no decay. His fingers were tipped with eerie, unnaturally long nails, and fresh, warm blood continuously oozed from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. One wing of his luxurious cloth coat was completely scorched, just like the wing of that nocturnal horsefly. Stunned, the people drove an ashen stake through the monster's heart, putting an end to his earthly atrocities forever. However, the fear of the supernatural world was deeply rooted in the minds of the peoples of Central Europe, giving rise to many other strange superstitions. One of them held that the human soul is capable of temporarily leaving its earthly shell and entering the bodies of animals, especially in the moments preceding death. This was precisely why people were terrified to go to bed without first quenching their thirst. It was believed that the parched soul of a sleeper would inevitably go in search of a drink. Leaving the human body, it most often took the form of a swift mouse or a night moth, risking being lost forever in the darkness. There is a known case where an old miller fell asleep on a hot afternoon, suffering from a cruel thirst. Witnesses saw a tiny field mouse run out of his half-open mouth and rush to a tub of water. At that very moment, a barn cat caught the rodent. In that exact second, the miller, still on the bench and without ever regaining consciousness, breathed his last, his soul forever trapped in the claw-torn body of the small animal. Since then, no one in those parts dared to lie down in bed without a pitcher of clean water at their head.